Hey there. If you have been around here a while, you have probably heard me say, go slow to go fast. I feel like every back to school season, probably starting even as early as June, I start really hammering this out there, hammering this in. Go slow to go fast. Go slow to go fast. If you've taken the play course with us, we say it a ton in there too. So today, in the next few minutes, I want to talk about what this actually means and why it's important for encouraging independence in pre-K and kindergarten. This phrase and actually implementing it is going to be key to classroom management success for your year as a whole. So independence feels really hard at first in pre-K and kindergarten because they're very little, they've never been at school, and we kind of forget that they're very, very capable, right? They can be independent, but it does take a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of effort. And often we're given a schedule and a scope and sequence and routines and this and that and all the other that we have to get done, and we have specialists to go to and lunch to make and get to on time. And there's just a lot of things that feel a little bit rushed, right? You might be nodding along with this thinking like, I always feel like I'm dragging my kids along through the day because we have somewhere to be and something to do. And there's only so much of that we can control. We can't control recess time or the schedule that we're given by our admin, but we can usually have more control over what happens within our classroom space. And this is where I really want to encourage us to go slower. So it feels hard at first because we feel like we have to keep things moving, right? So sometimes we're like, you know what? I'm going to clean up this for them. I'm going to open their snack for them. I'm going to do this for them. I'm going to help them I'm going to stuff their folders for them. I'm going to put their folder in their backpack for them. And we end up doing so much for our students or having an assistant do it or things like that, that they actually could do for themselves. However, it takes a lot of time for students to learn to do it themselves. And time is something we always kind of feel like we're chasing or we don't get enough of. So I'm not here to say magically you're going to have more time in your schedule, but I am here to tell you the benefits of why we're going to slow down. And I hope you'll commit to this with me, why we're going to slow down even when it feels so uncomfortable and we're getting a little bit worried about it, and the benefits you're going to see on the other side. Because if we're always doing things for our students, we are getting in the way of them building the independence that we want them to have so that we can get further with them. Sometimes we feel so rushed. We feel like, oh my gosh, the outline I'm given by my admin says I need to be on this page of the curriculum right now, right? And so we feel like we have to hurry up and get there. But what happens is we're dragging kids there and they're not actually ready for it because they don't even know how to come to the carpet and how to sit down for a circle time lesson, let alone take in the information we're trying to give them. So it's important, and I know we don't have a ton of control always, but it's important if we can to push back some of those things that we think we have to do the second day of school, push them down the line a little bit and realize we're going to be in a tortoise and hare situation here. This is the best way I know how to give the example of go slow to go fast is the tortoise and the hare. So let's take two kindergarten classrooms side by side. And both great teachers, but we're going to have some different philosophies here. One's going to go slow to go fast. The other one is like, we don't have time for that. We're going to hit the ground running, right? So in the beginning, let's call her the hare teacher. The hare hits the ground running. Her kids are moving through that curriculum. They're already on page 25. They've read the books. They've done the lessons and the songs. They're moving and moving. And from the outside, over here, the tortoise teacher is like, uh-oh, they are so much further than me. I'm feeling a little bit stressed. They're further than me. My kids are over here. We're still practicing how to sit down at the carpet. We're still putting our backpacks on, like learning how to put them on ourselves. Oh no, right? In the beginning, if we're comparing, which I don't ever recommend being in the comparison game, but in the beginning, it's going to feel a little different being the teacher that's going slower. However, let's give it some time. Remember the tortoise and the hare story? This teacher, the hare teacher over here, is going so fast. But what happens is when she's moving so fast, wanting them to do everything, she's trying to run a small group and her kids are up there tapping her on the shoulder. Hello, teacher, teacher, teacher. They looked at me. Teacher, teacher, I don't know how to do this. They're lining up for the end of the day. Teacher, teacher, zip my coat. Teacher, teacher, help me with my backpack. Where are my papers? Right? I'm saying this chaotically because you can probably feel this chaos. Maybe you've been in this chaos. They maybe are moving quickly academically. I'm using little air quotes for a moment. But when it comes to independence and self-sufficiency and knowing how to navigate their classroom, they're a mess. There's a lot of tantrums, there's crying, there's arguing, there's behavior struggles, interruptions. So this teacher's moving, but she is not thriving. And honestly, they're not retaining a lot of that information at all anyway. So on paper, that teacher's further, but really, when it comes time to kind of assess like how they're not doing so well, right? They moved too quickly. Now, the tortoise teacher is plodding along, right? Maybe we haven't even introduced some of the curriculum yet, but you know what? Those students, slowly but surely, are zipping their own coat, putting on their own backpack, grabbing their own lunch, sitting down at the carpet. They're independently in free-flowing centers while they're teachers with small groups, and no one is interrupting the teacher. Right? It's never perfect, of course, because this is reality. These are kindergartners. But that environment in the tortoise teacher that went slow is so much calmer. The kids are so much more independent that now when the teacher is ready to introduce different lessons from the curriculum or different requirements and things, they are ready to take it in. Because now the teacher can actually introduce it without stopping every 5 seconds for interruptions or chaos. And they're ready to take it in. They're ready to retain it. So thank you for coming on that side story with me, but telling it through the eyes of Tortoise and the Hare with an example of the two teachers is the best way I know how to kind of visualize it and get you to see the difference when one teacher's rushing, and another is going slow. I also like to remind you to control what you can control. There are some things like you can't control what time of day you have to hurry up and get to PE or music class, and that's okay. We have to roll with it and be flexible. But for the pieces we can control, we want to make sure that we are going slowly and building that independence. There are lots of ways you can support students with this. Part of it is building those routines slowly, as we talked about, going slow to go fast, but using visuals, using songs, using our routine cheat sheets where I break it down for you. We'll link those inside the Print and Play Club for you below. If you're not part of our club yet, come join us so you can grab those resources and use them. But I want to just encourage you, no matter what, as you're starting the school year, if you notice something feeling a little bit chaotic, if you notice students relying on you so much and you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to do this for them, I want you to pause and think, okay, wait. Is this an opportunity right now? Could I go slower right now so that later I can get further? Because later, remember that story in Tortoise and the Hare? He actually wins the race, right? Because the hare is so exhausted from rushing, he's over there like falling apart. And the tortoise wins the race. Later, you're going to get further in the school year. In the spring, when management issues are popping up for everyone else, you are going to be smooth sailing, getting through that curriculum, getting further. Your students are going to be feeling so much better, and so are you, because you took the time at the beginning of the year. Going slow does not mean you are behind. It might feel like it, but I promise you, you're building that foundation to support your students so that you can get ahead later. You can do this. I really hope. I know that I sometimes can't believe I'm like a whole episode for one saying, but it's that important. And I know you can do this. If you have questions about it, reach out to us. Be sure to check the show notes for any other supports that we can offer you. Check out our other episodes about back to school. We are here for you. Let's make this our best year yet. Happy teaching.